Thank you for continuing in this discussion. Um, Another thing I would like to think about is a hypothetical situation. In the event that all the advances in science, think about like everything that has advanced ever since the rise of reason and logic in Greece. Think about everything that has come about in science. How we've cloned rat genes, and all these cool things. How the rise of technology, how we can create robots that have really big intelligences, and we're progressing towards that. Think about everything like that. Think about the fact that there was no industrial revolution, there was no any of the huge progresses in science. I don't know how this would happen. I'm talking hypothetically. I'm not saying this has happened or anything. I'm just saying that hypothetically. Think if this had never come about, all the advances of science, and that past the rise of reason and logic in Greece, that there was only a few advances throughout the history of thousands of years, hundreds and thousands of years. I think that there is only a few advances, and that we are not in the place that we are now in technology and science in 2011. Think about all that. Think that we only just had a few advances, and that we only have telephones, and we only have corded telephones, and we only have really primitive TVs and things like that. Just those things. Just for example, if science never made all these huge advances and things like that, or scratch that, if there wasn't any industrial revolution or things like that, there wouldn't be a telephone or a TV or anything. Just think if we were very very still primitive, in 1800s, say. If science had never made these advances, would people like Descartes and metaphysicians and philosophers of mind, would they question the world? Would they question things like that? Would there be the mind-body problem? If you don't know what the mind-body problem is, it is the discussion about if the mind is separate from the body, and there's physicalists who would say that everything and part of us is reduced to only physical things, such that our mind, our soul, so to speak, without the theological connotation, and the body and the mind is all reducible to physical things, matter. That's a physicalist, and then an anti-physicalist would say that that our body is matter, and then our mind and our spirit and our soul is a spiritual thing, not bound to matter, to physical things. That's a couple positions on the mind-body problem. Would people question the mind, the body? Would there be a mind-body problem in metaphysics and the philosophy of mind if there was no huge advances in science? I think that there will be. There would be a lot of advances in philosophy, questioning metaphysical things, questioning properties and stuff like that. There would be all that stuff. There would definitely, if there was no science. So I think this is proof why this. I think this proves that philosophy is not a backseat to politics and science. No. And that philosophy is its own entity that stands by itself without and I just think that philosophy has other reasons. Like if you study any philosopher or anything, you would understand and see why that in a lot of the basic things, like if you study Locke or Berkeley or modern philosophers and 19th century philosophers, you would see why science doesn't. That science is not the front seat and philosophy is in the back seat. Philosophy is its own entity. Science is on its own entity still. I think that they're equal, and Brian still says that that philosophy is useless, and that science does things and philosophy only talks about possibilities. That's a good thing. Philosophy is good is doing possibilities. But I really think that this is the truth. Now, if you again, I'm going to talk about a different thing on this issue, so if you want to continue, there's another annotation right here, which will take you to a third video.